Today we're going to talk about the absurd price action that we've been seeing in Bitcoin over the past 24 hours. We just recently saw a dive bomb from, $13,000 all the way down to 11,000 in the course of 2 hours. And if we pull this back to a slightly longer term time frame, you can see here that we've really gone down from highs of 14,500 all the way down to 11,000. So this has been a fairly substantial sell-off in Bitcoin just recently. We have a decent amount of volume, not really all that much compared to if we go back quite a bit where we had the last nosedive of this nature. You can see that really volume is quite low relative to what it was back then, but at least it's not 10,000 Bitcoin. I mean, every time I look at this exchange, I swear the volume has been fairly weak over the last week or so. So we are seeing a little bit of volume come back into the market, which might mean that there's a little bit more downside from here. A lot of this seems to be coming from fears over China yet again. Seems like they're looking to basically ban all centralized cryptocurrency trading. Any settlement, market makers, even online wallets are being targeted, and you can see that all the different websites are starting to pick this up. So as a result of that, everybody is a little fearful right now that China is going to take even more of a stronger stance against cryptocurrencies than they already have, which of course is a reason to, I guess it's a reason to be fearful. I really don't get it that much because they really don't contribute that much of the volume overall. Some people are speculating that it's a typical cyclical drop in the price of Bitcoin because we see people sell off around this time of year because it's close to the Chinese New Year and because this is just tends to be a slower time even in the US and other places around the world. Volume just really isn't there. And in general, people are converting into fiat over in China and the Eastern Hemisphere in order to purchase gifts for that time of year. Again, I don't know how much I buy into that. Personally, I'm of the kind of classical opinion that there really shouldn't be that much seasonality in prices, because if it is predictable seasonality in prices, then everybody would know to sell at this time of year and the price would tank, 50% at this time of year every single time or something stupid like that. I don't know how much I believe in the seasonality of prices. In the stock market, we did have something called the January effect. It's been mostly taken away, so maybe we have the January effect here in cryptocurrencies as well. I don't know how much I believe in it, but that's something that's being passed out or passed around as an explanation for what's going on. Anyway, in terms of my thoughts of the market, should you get involved, should you not get involved? I've been saying forever now, Bitcoin is going to be the place to be over altcoins, just in general here. I mean, right now we're seeing Bitcoin go down less than all the other cryptocurrencies. If I change this over to Bitcoin levels, you can see that across the board, most cryptocurrencies, most altcoins are down relative to Bitcoin. So in general here, what you're going to see is that some of that capital is going to flow back into Bitcoin, especially if we see a continued sell-off here. Looks like, unfortunately, I'm going to be wrong in terms of why this dominance figure goes up. Usually it goes up either because Bitcoin spikes or because the whole market tumbles. Looks like we're more on the side of the tumbling, which is unfortunate, but hey, I mean, you can only say so much, right? The most important part here is that if you didn't pick up any Bitcoin back when we saw this massive dip back in, I believe, around August, or not August 20th, that was a long time ago, December 20th, excuse me. It was on December 22nd, it looks like here. If you didn't get to pick up any Bitcoin back here, this is a good opportunity for you to pick up in the 11,000s. I think this is a great opportunity on a US dollar level. I haven't bought any more. I haven't increased my allocation to the cryptocurrency market since back here. I mean, and when I say increase my allocation, I mean I haven't used more cash. All I've done is shifting within my portfolio. So if you didn't have an opportunity to use cash, if you have any that's waiting on the sidelines, this is not the worst time in the world to get in. I'm not going to get in at this point just because of the fact I already increased my allocation back when it went down this low, and I'm probably not going to end up buying more Bitcoin unless it goes down to 10,000, 9,000, 8,000, somewhere in that region. I will start buying more Bitcoin. But for now, my allocation, I'm comfortable with it. Otherwise, I would have bought more back here. So what I'm really doing to prepare for events like this, I've said it before, larger allocation into Bitcoin. At this point, it's probably not a bad idea to start deploying new cash into the market if you're somebody like me that tends to have cash as a percentage of your portfolio at all times. Well, this might not be the worst time in the world to decrease that allocation to cash slightly and increase your allocation to Bitcoin. I think that there seems to be a little bit of fear going on in the market, and as long as that fear continues to circulate, we might see momentum continue to bring this to the downside. In the event that we see that happen, I think it's going to be a great opportunity to get in. I remain bullish on Bitcoin in particular. Altcoins, again, I'm not too bullish on. I tend to say that at this point, again, I've said this over and over again, but really I think that Bitcoin is the place to be if you want to be in the cryptocurrency market. I know that a lot of people have felt that Bitcoin has been fairly boring, and it has been boring recently, but I think that you're going to find that, number one, you have lower risk when it comes to investing with Bitcoin, and you're probably going to have better upside here in the short term. So if you want to have an allocation to the market, then I would stick with Bitcoin. I would not sell into this panic right now because this is just, I think, a little overdone. Not even just a little overdone, it's quite a bit overdone. This is a great opportunity for those of you who have been waiting on the sidelines, not sure as to when to get in. Get in now. Get in some now if you haven't gotten in any yet, and get even more in if we see this go down to $10,000, $9,000, and especially $8,000. If we see Bitcoin go down to $8,000, I'm going to shift even more funds into the cryptocurrency market. Keep in mind that not my entire net worth goes into cryptocurrencies, right? But I will allocate a little bit more into cryptocurrencies if we see Bitcoin go down to 8,000, because even though I still think it's a bubble at 8,000, let me make that clarification. I still think it's a bubble at 8,000. I think there's going to be a lot more capital that can push the market up, and I think there's going to be a lot of support at that level. I'm not calling for Bitcoin to go to that level. I'm just saying that if it does, definitely pick it up at that level. There's no reason that you shouldn't. It could always go lower. We don't know what's going to happen in markets like these. I just think that we haven't gotten to the point where the bubble is going to pop yet. I think there's still a little bit too much enthusiasm for this market. There's too many people who haven't had the opportunity to get in yet that are going to want to get in. At some point here, yes, the bubble does have to pop. And I know that some of you might be speculating that this might be it. It's absolutely possible, and I'm not trying to FUD here. I really hate that term, by the way, but it is possible that the bubble is popping. Nobody really knows when that's going to happen, but personally, I don't think it's quite yet. I think we have a few months at least, maybe, like a year to two max. I think the bubble should pop within 2 years, but for now, I think we have a little while left. I think we still have some steam left in this thing. We might see more headlines like this associated with China or with South Korea that continue to push the market downward. If we know from the past that if you go here and you look at the price of Bitcoin back when China banned it, we saw a recovery from that exceptionally quickly. It's almost going to be like a blip on the radar here. But this was the ban of China right here. This was the ban. You see how it doesn't even look like anything when you're on the linear chart? Let's go ahead and move it over to the scale chart. On the logarithmic chart. Even on the logarithmic chart, you really can't, it doesn't even look like the price of Bitcoin went down all that much. This was a serious sell-off at the time. It went from $5,000 at a peak all the way down to $3,000, slightly undercut, and then it came back up from there. And it recovered very quickly and very powerfully. I remember at the time, nobody thought, people were speculative of the idea of Bitcoin crossing 5,000 because it was such a big milestone and kind of like a psychological barrier, and it just smashed through that and continued going up since. So Bitcoin has illustrated to me time and time again, even if it doesn't necessarily make sense that it goes up, it does. There's a lot of capital that's waiting to come into the market. I know some people are talking about the Wall Street bonuses for, that being a catalyst that can drive a lot of capital into cryptocurrencies. Again, I don't know how much I buy into that, because people on Wall Street, they're already in cryptocurrencies if they want to be in them, and they're not in cryptocurrencies if they don't want to be in them. So I guess it will add some capital to the market, but not nearly enough to make a substantial movement, at least not in my opinion. But the moral of the story here is, this is an opportunity for you guys to get into the market. If you weren't able to capitalize on this previous drop where we saw an extreme sell-off like this, it's a good opportunity for you guys to get in if you didn't get back in back there. And then secondly, if we see this continue to go lower, I would continue to buy more and decrease your cash position if you're someone like me that doesn't 100% every single dollar you have into crypto, because I just don't feel comfortable with that. I like the feeling of being able to take advantage of opportunities like this. People note that on this channel I tend to be a little happier when things are crashing than when things are doing well. And the reason why is because, to me, this is opportunity, and when things are going up, I feel queasy, I feel uncomfortable, because, again, there's really no basis for it to be going up. There's always a basis for it to go down on a fundamental level. I know some people are just going to hate when I say things like that, but that's the truth. But this, for right now, in terms of trading opportunities, in terms of investing, I think this is a good time to get into the market, at least, again, if you haven't before, and then we'll probably see opportunities arise here in the future as well, if Bitcoin continues to move to the downside. Hope you guys, as usual, enjoyed the video. I know it was a little repetitive, maybe a lot repetitive now that I think about it, but really want to hammer in the idea here that when you see a sea of red like this, this is an opportunity for you to get into the market, not an opportunity for you to sell out of the market. This is not when you sell out. You sell out of the market when it's moving to the upside, when everybody's talking about the idea that it can't possibly go down from here, or everybody's bullish on altcoins, or everybody's bullish on Bitcoin. You try to do the opposite of what other people are doing, because that's the best time to take advantage of things while they're, everybody says take advantage of things while they're hot by bandwagoning. Well, I say take advantage of things while things are hot by doing the opposite of what everybody else is doing and getting the best prices. So this is the time to buy. This is the time to hold. If you don't have any money to buy, just sit through it. Be patient. I think the prices are going to come up from here eventually. I don't have a timetable for that. Obviously, I can't predict these sorts of things for you, but I can say that with some level of confidence, I think that we are going to see the markets come back up from here, just because cryptocurrencies have illustrated to me time and time again, even though it doesn't make sense, they always seem to recover from events like this. So bullish still in general here. Bitcoin superior. Don't sell. Hold. Buy more if you haven't had the opportunity to buy back here. As usual, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure that you check out my Steemit if you're interested with interacting with me. I tend to be a little bit more active on there just because the comments are a little bit more manageable. So check that out if you want to have a higher probability of me responding. Otherwise, as usual, leave a like, comment, and subscription, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching.